where we are here to help entrepreneurs either start business or grow your already existing business. I'm here with an entrepreneur guru, my friend Liddell.
Typically, tangible assets hold their value versus non-tangible assets. I'm not against stocks at all, period. I just like for my money to be backed by something that's tangible, physical, that I can go see and feel it's mine.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner. We back today on this Thursday for that Countermove podcast. It's your partner, Liddell. We up in this thing, man. If you could, guys, as we begin this, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, all platforms. Subscribe, guys, if you love this content. Today, guys, we're going to dive into a subject that is kind of a little bit of a controversial subject, but we're going to dive into this thing because we want the smoke. We want the smoke. All right, guys. Here's the question for today. The question is the 401k a scam? There's a lot of videos out there that talks about this subject, and they go kind of deep into it. A lot of them are biased. Some of them are not biased, but I thought it'd be wise for us to kind of lean in and reason together to see exactly and begin to look at answer this question: is the 401k a scam? In other words, is this type of an investment instrument a good instrument for the investor, which is the consumer? Guys, let's dive into it. So I think the best question to ask up front, guys, is what is a 401k? Well, I thought it'd be wise for us again to go right to our guys from Investopedia to kind of get that definition of what that is. Guys, they're going to go right into it and kind of unpack what it is, and then we kind of dive in a little bit more. Let's go get it.
The 401k plan is one of the most widely used retirement vehicles. 401ks are established by employers to help employees realize their retirement goals. It is considered a qualified plan, which means it is eligible for tax benefits. In a 401k plan, you can make contributions from a portion of your employment earnings. These contributions can be made before or after payroll taxes. Once the contributions are in the account, the profits made from investing these funds grow on a tax-deferred basis. This means that if you make pre-tax contributions from your pay, you won't pay taxes on your gains until you withdraw them in retirement. This allows you to reduce your current taxable income and put off those taxes until retirement, when you'll likely be in a lower tax bracket. Some 401k plans, known as Roth 401ks, allow you to make after-tax contributions, so you won't pay tax when you pull the money out after you retire. But you need to hold the money in the plan for a minimum number of years before withdrawing it after retirement. Some employers also match the amount an employee puts into the account, or offer other incentives like profit sharing. This is a great way to boost your savings, but the IRS does set limits on how much you can contribute to these plans, and also sets restrictions on how and when you can withdraw the funds. Because of their tax advantages, 401k plans can help your retirement savings grow much faster than saving and investing without them. If you start contributing early and invest wisely, the 401k will help you leverage time and reduce taxes while achieving your retirement goals.
All right, guys, I thought that was a pretty good diatribe of what a 401k really is and the benefits of it, and also the restrictions. That was a good unbiased definition of what that is. Okay, so now now that we know what it is, let's go to the next question, guys. Okay, what is the true intended design for the 401k? This question is rarely not asked. What you normally see is the definition itself. And the definition is great, but I thought it would be wise for us to kind of dive in to see what the true intended design of the 401k, what it truly was. And I think it was wise, guys, to go to the father of the 401k to talk about this. He was actually on CNBC talking about this. And let's unpack and see exactly what he said about it. All right, let's dive into this thing.
And a high amount of reverence that I ask the Edison of the 401k the following question, and that is this. If there is a criticism of it, it has been that 401ks made it all too convenient for employers to discontinue their pension plans, their defined benefit plans, and that those defined benefit plans that covered all employees based on their salary, they would get a stipend at 65, that those plans were actually better for the employee than a 401k. When you hear that criticism, what do you?
That's a great question that he's asking the father of the 401k itself. This is the gentleman that actually designed the 401k. Listen intently to what he's about to say. Okay, listen, focus on what he's going to say.
What do you feel?
There isn't a fast answer to it. I started in that side.
Oh, we got
business.
all day.
When I hear it's not a fast answer to that, my ears go up. Listen.
Okay. I started in that side of the business.
Yeah.
And a little while ago, you mentioned ERISA, not before we got on the air here. That is the number one reason for the death of defined benefit plans, not for 401ks. And I'm not defending 401ks are far from perfect. They were never intended to be what they are, okay? But ERISA, which was intended to save the pension system.
What do you mean by that? That they were never to...
Notice he hasn't answered the question yet. I'm being overly critical right now because I think we should be. But notice he hasn't answered the question yet. Let's keep going.
Never intended to become what they've become, which is $15 trillion worth of assets. It's like Amazon was never intended to become what it became in a way.
Notice he said 401k was never intended to do what it's doing today. What does that mean? Let's keep going.
Right. What do you mean?
It was a fluke politically.
A fluke politically. So what he's saying is, and he's going to go in a little bit too more detail about this. He's saying that the initial intended design of a 401k was not meant to be what it is as of today. This is the father of the 401k who actually designed this.
The legislation here wasn't because some member of Congress said, hey, why don't we set up this great retirement program to help people save for retirement? It was enacted for what were known as cash deferred employer funded profit sharing plans. That was the reason for it. That legislation was passed in the fall of 1978, had a delayed effective date of January 1980. January 80 came, no one was running around the country setting up 401k plans. We didn't have financial advisors out there selling these because no one anticipated it being a big thing. So it was that.
See, no one really anticipated for a 401k to actually be a viable big thing as it is today. This is the father of the 401k talking about its intended design. Okay?
Actually, in the fall of 80, that I came up with the idea of throwing a matching employer contribution and employee pre-tax contributions into this section of the code. And there wasn't anything there saying thou shalt not. Right. So I chose to take the more aggressive interpretation. And
so what he's saying is when it comes to the employer match, he put that into the legislation, that language there, okay, because we want to be more aggressive for the savings component for the consumer. Okay, all right, okay, I can understand that.
Ultimately, it got supported.
For better and for worse.
Very interesting.
Better and worse, exactly.
But ERISA is in your view is.
So that's the end of that one. He's going to go on to talk about ERISA, but I digress on that. I want you to be very clear what he's actually talking about. The initial intended design for 401k was not to be what it is today, which is one of the most popular retirement investment instruments on the market. There was never its intention. This is coming from Ted Benham, the father of the 401k. And then he says also that he actually wanted to make it aggressive as far as the savings component, which I can understand with that. He was saying that he wanted to make it more aggressive by actually having an employer match the contribution of the employee. Okay, no problem with it at all. Okay, that makes some sense. So now we know the true intended design. Now, let's go to the next question. Let's really look at the truth about how a 401k actually operates. Okay, let's look at that. And we got to bring in another expert to unpack this for us. And that expert that we're going to bring in, guys, is Deontay Ford. And what I want you guys to see real quickly he's going to unpack this for us to really look at both he's going to really look at the 401k and look at it from its entire context, the entirety of it. It's a great illustration of how it functions literally. Okay, listen intently to this. Okay, here we go.
At your job, watch this video. Now, when it comes to building for retirement, there's two phases that we should always be mindful of. That's the accumulation phase and the distribution phase. So when it comes to the way that you put money in a 401k, you are contributing what's called pre-tax dollars. The idea is that you lower your tax liability by shrinking the amount of income that you report in taxes because that money is being contributed to your 401k account. Another common misconception is that by you taking pre-tax dollars, you increase the return that you earn on that money, which is also a misconception. For the year 2022, your contribution limit is $20,500. Now, when you're putting this money inside of a 401k, it's important to understand that your money is growing in a variable fashion. There's three ways that your money grows: indexed, fixed, and variable. Variable means that your money is fully exposed to the market, so it has zero protection. It also means that because the market goes up and down, that your money has interrupted growth. You can grow 20%, but you can also experience a 20% loss on your entire portfolio balance. Another critical point that needs to be mentioned that's often not talked about is the fact that you're restricting money inside of an account until 59 and a half with limited liquidity or access to that money.
Good point.
There are early penalty withdrawals of 10% on that money, in addition to that being counted as taxable income. Now, one of the biggest marketing catches for the 401k is the employer match. So it's the idea that, hey, my employer is going to match me and help me build my retirement, which is true, but there's nuance there because there used to be pensions that were offered, but the replacement for pensions has been a 401k.
Now, remember, Ted Bennett was talking about how pensions were the norm back then until 401k was actually designed. So what Deontay is actually talking about is spot on. He's shaking hands with Ted Bennett, the father of the 401k, but he's unpacking this thing in a very methodical way to where you can understand exactly the function of it. Man, listen to this.
Even though it was never actually designed to be a true replacement for pensions.
Yes.
What happened is it was heavily adopted in the corporate world because it was a way for employers to reduce their tax liability by writing off anything that they contributed to your account as a tax write-off. Now, you can take loans from your 401k, and typically they're going to be based on prime rate plus 1%. Historically, they average anywhere between 4 to 7%. Not to mention that you're paying 1 to 2% management fees and sometimes higher annually on your total portfolio balance. So let's just accumulation. Pre-tax dollars going into a variable environment where your money grows interrupted. It's completely at risk of loss with no protection. You have limited access to it and you're penalized if you take it out prior to 59 and a half. And you can borrow from it in select situations if your employer allows you to, but you're going to pay interest on that money, in addition to the fees that you're paying on your entire balance. Now, when it comes to the distribution side, there's something called RMDs, which are required minimum distributions. By age 72, you're required to take out a minimum distribution based on the life expectancy factor, which is calculated by taking your balance divided by whatever the life expectancy factor is at age 72. Now, if you don't follow this rule, you could take a 50% tax penalty hit on your entire balance. What?
Yeah. Most people didn't know that at all, did you guys? Man, he killing this thing, man. Good job, Deontay.
Now, you spent all this time accumulating this money in the accumulation phase. You were planting seeds to grow your harvest. But when it became time to reap the benefits of your harvest, Uncle Sam popped up and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and tax this as income on any distributions that you take. Now, pensions, which the 401k has inefficiently replaced, used to offer lifetime income as a guarantee.
Yep.
Now, your 401k, which is essentially gambled in the stock market, does not offer you any lifetime income. What else does it not offer? Life insurance. No death benefit is being distributed to the beneficiary on your 401k in your passing. So all that they're going to get is whatever the remaining balance was, if any, in that account. With all that being said, you have to make a decision at the end of the day about what's the best vehicle for you to grow your money.
Good.
But I think it's important for you to be informed about what vehicle you use.
Yes.
So once again, before you go to your job and just sign up with the 401k plan because that's what they tell you, ask questions. Watch this video. Reflect on what it is that I've told you today. Moral of the presentation, understand where you're putting your money before you put it there.
Man, guys, phenomenal breakdown of how the functionality of a 401k, how it truly functions. Okay, I guarantee you, this is my opinion, most 401k investors don't know any of that information. They don't know. Did you know that if you do not at 72 withdraw the qualified amount, you can tax it at 50%? I bet you didn't know that, did you? Now you do. But can we go a little deeper, y'all, on the 401k? Let's continue answering this question, the truth about a 401k. Can we go a little deeper? Now we got to widen the circle, y'all. You know I love wise counsel, as the Bible talks about. Seek wise counsel. Let's bring in another brother that's going to give us some wisdom here, guys, on what another function of the 401k. His name, guys, is Brandon Anthony Clark. Another brother. Let's dive into this, man. He's gonna go right into it. Here we go. And we're gonna refresh it. Start it over for us. Here we go. Come on now. There we go. Here we go.
Trust. Your grantor is the person who creates the trust. Your trustee is the person who has the control, and then the beneficiary, they benefit from the trust. So if you have a 401k, you are actually the beneficiary of your 401k. So if you're the beneficiary of your 401k, who is the grantor or the creator? Your company is the creator, right? Who has the control? That's going to be your Fidelity, a Schwab, or whoever like that, right? There's certain things that you can and cannot do with your 401k, right?
Yes.
One of the things that you cannot do is actually touch that money before you reach the age of 59 and a half. If you do, you have to pay a 10% penalty. You also got to pay federal and state taxes on that money. And just so you guys know, I don't have problems like with 401ks or IRAs. I think they could be structured to benefit us a lot better than how they're structured right now. Because let me ask you guys this question. You're the beneficiary, but yet you're putting up all the money. You're taking all the risk, right? And when it's all said and done, this ain't even an account that we own or control. The company owns that 401k. We just benefit from it. So if you decided to take your Bitcoin and put it inside of your 401k, you're not buying yourself Bitcoin. You're actually buying Bitcoin for your company.
All right, guys. I know a lot of you guys will probably rocked by what you just saw. You don't even control in the 401k. That's not your account. That's the company's account. So if you buy Bitcoin, things of that nature with your 401k, you're actually buying it for the company. Do you understand the restrictions now? Why you have restrictions on that money? Because the 401k is a trust itself. You're just the beneficiary. The trustee is Charles Schwab, Fidelity, whatever company that you normally use. And the owner of the trust is your company. Now do you see why? Now you understand how actually a 401k actually functions. You understand the structure now and how it actually operates itself and the restriction that they actually have. So here are my thoughts, guys, on a 401k. All right, my thoughts. Would I ever put my money into a 401k? Number one, I don't have money in any 401k at all, and I never will. Why is that, Liddell? Number one, I'm a real estate investor and developer and financier. Okay, and also I'm in private equity venture capital. the first question we ask is, what's the security for my money? In a 401k, there is no security. We just saw in a 401k environment, the beneficiary does not own the account. The company does. So there's no security for the money. So you're contributing money into an account that the company actually controls, that actually owns, so to speak. It's their account. So you're just giving that money into that account. Where's your security at? There's not any at all. What's the second one? Okay. There's no proper velocity of money. Velocity of money meaning how quick can I go to A to B and increase my yield without and decreasing my risk and my tax liability. That's velocity of money. Okay. In a 401k, there's a lot of restrictions upon that capital. You can't access it in the way that you may desire to access it, on up to a certain threshold. When it comes to my capital, I want to be able to do what I want to do with my money, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. Okay. And also, I love to have control. I want to control how much money I make and how much money I can lose, because I'm the one making the investment. In a 401k environment, that is not, you have none of those controls at all. None. Okay. Here's the third one. It's a higher tax liability in a 401k. I know a lot of you guys didn't know that at age 72, if you do not make those qualified withdrawals, I believe is what it's called, you can get taxed 50%. Notice how I laughed. That's a terrible tax ramifications on that capital. But I understand why now, because of the fact that in that structure, it's the company's account. It ain't yours. From a structure standpoint. Does that make some sense, guys? So to me, can I keep it 100 with you guys? I'm smelling a scam. I don't know about you. I like to have control. If I'm making an investment into a business, into a property, so to speak, I want to be able to control my ROI. I want to be able to control the risk and the tax liability. I want to control all of that. In that environment, there's no control. It's not even your account. I mean, that was a great video by Brandon breaking down the structure of a 401k. Man, that was phenomenal, guys. All right, guys. You know, I can go in a little bit, but all right, Dale. All right, it's called the Countermove, Dale. What's the Countermove? Well, guys, for those that actually know me, you know where I'm finna go. But for those who don't know me, it's all good. Listen to your partner. I won't steer you wrong. Here we go. These are my opinions, though, okay? I'm not a financial advisor at all. These are my opinions of what I do with my money and how we invest our money in real estate development, finance, and private equity and venture capital, okay? All right. What would I do first with my money? I put it in the proper environment. I love life insurance. Notice I said investing. Most people think life insurance is for you to actually buy for death. No, that's why it's called life insurance. Life. You use it while you're living. All right. So, Liddell, can you really do that? I figured you asked that question. Not a problem with it at all. Let's go ahead and go to somebody else. And he's going to talk to you about how he actually did something with his life insurance policy. My man, Matt Sapala. What's up with you, baby? We're going to go in and talk with Matt real fast about this. Let's see what Matt actually says about how he utilized life insurance. Let's go get it.
What is like your go-to investments that you usually like to go for?
My primary is my life insurance policies. I shove a lot of cash inside my life insurance policies, life insurance retirement plans. I bought 4 cars through my life insurance retirement plan. I don't pay any interest to any bank out there.
You hear what you just said? He funnels a lot of cash in his life insurance policy, and he pays 0 interest to any banks. How you doing that, Matt? I'm glad you asked that question. Here we go.
If, for example, we just got a Rolls Royce delivered to the office. It's a $280,000 Rolls Royce, right? I took a $50,000 down. Took a $50,000 cash and just wired just to get them delivered. But I took the cash from our policy, paid the dealership with it, and now my 2003, what I would normally pay the bank, I just paying that back to my life insurance policy. So I lost no interest. Better part of it, you know this about cars, because I placed it in the area of my business, and it was just shy of 6,000 pounds, but if it wasn't even SUV anyway. But I can write off the bonus, I can write off the depreciation, Section 179, amortize over the next 5 years, the cost of that car on my taxes.
Okay. For those that may not know this, yes, he pays zero in interest to banks. Why? He utilizes life insurance policy as a investment tool, banking tool. Understand that? It's what he actually uses. Okay. You may say, Dale, how do you do that? Again, I'm glad you asked. Stick with your partner. I got you, baby. Let's go. Let's go ahead and go back to. Let's go ahead and go back to Brandon real fast on this. He's gonna break it down how that actually happened. Here we go. Go back to Brandon real fast. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go.
In bank A, we put 100,000 in it, and in bank B, we put in 100,000. This is a very important part. Both accounts are paying us 7%. Both of them. Okay.
And our bank pays 7%, maybe 1%.
Right. For real though. For real. But so let's just say this bank paid you 7%, right?
Yeah.
And you took out 70,000.
Mm-hmm.
How much money you got left now?
30.
30. Now we only got 30 earning us 7%. We pay back the 70, so minus 30. We pay back the 70. Now we're back to our 100. That's paying us 7%. Okay. That's bank A. Bank B, let's say instead of withdrawing, 70,000, let's say we borrowed 70 at a 4% cost. How much money do we have in the account? That's my first question. Remember from the last slide, with inside of the insurance policy, when you take out 70, you still got 100 in there.
Yeah.
Because it's a loan. You just got a loan against it. So you still got 100 here.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you pay back the loan, you still have 100,000. Right.
So
if you pay back the loan, but what if you just add 70,000 and not pay back the loan? You got 170 now. Now you earn it 7% on 170. 170,000 times 7% equals $11,900, and we owe interest at 4% on 70. So I can do that one. That's 2,800. So let's minus 2,800.
Still 9,100.
How much?
9,100.
9,100. Over here, how much we got? $7,000. This loan actually made you money to not pay it back. Mm-hmm. So you got two banks.
That is essentially what he talked about is this here. What Brandon did, he gave you two examples. Bank A was how a traditional bank actually works. 100,000 minus 70, you actually have about 30,000. You got to place that 70 back into the bank itself to actually go get it back up to your $100,000. That's Bank A. Bank B was a life insurance policy itself, and what he was talking about there is this here is you put 100,000 to a life insurance policy. Number one. Number two, what you do is then you actually borrow 70,000 out of the policy. Now, keep word there is borrow. Your $100,000 is still in the policy. You borrow the 70,000 from the life insurance company at a 4% interest rate. Okay. But your money's still making, and it's paying you 7, and the 100,000 is paying you 7%. Okay. And you're paying 77% annually. So you're borrowing the 70 at 4%, but the 100,000 is making you 7% still. Okay. So you're making a 3% arbitrage there. Okay. But let's say, for instance, you put that money back into there. Okay. Put it back in there over time itself. You saw the math. You actually made more money not paying the loan back over time. Does that make some sense, guys? He wasn't talking about the 70,000 getting paid, put back in there like in Bank A. He was talking about how over time it actually gets paid back over time. So you didn't do what you did in Bank A, which is put the 70,000 back in there one lump sum. You got paid more money to not pay the loan back. I mean, it's simple. That's called leverage, guys. Leverage. I think it's more wise to place my money into an environment that I can place in there, make a nice tax free income, okay, and then borrow that money, leverage that money to make my investments. I'm using someone else's money to make the investments, okay. OPM, other people's money. All right. What's the next thing I invest in? It's your partner. Real estate investing, guys. Real estate, man. For me, guys, I think real estate to me, and I'm a little biased, I go ahead and say is the best investment you can actually make because there's something tangible behind it. Okay, but also I would counsel somebody to begin with investing in life insurance initially first, then invest in real estate second, because you're insuring your money first, and then you're actually using someone else's money to actually acquire the real estate or invest into a fund of some sort. You're using the same dollars twice, and you get all the tax write-offs, okay, that you should get. Okay. All right. So now you know me. I don't like pumping myself up, but guys, but I want to show a video of your partner looking better than you all the time. This is me, guys, and I'm gonna explain this deal in a second. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and refresh it so you can hear me. Here we go. Y'all, it's your partner. I'm actually here in Starksville, Mississippi, home of the MSU Bulldogs, buying 18 lots, ready to build on. And also, 15 properties already leased, already cash flowing, with long-term tenants in place. Guys, the deals are out here. They're out here. Come holler at your partner. All right, guys. What's good, guys? All right, guys. Now, Damien, you must have Dale, why did you show that type of thing? I did because of the fact that deal there, guys, is that deal. I have no money in the deal. None of my own money in the deal. And let me kind of explain the deal to you. About 15 properties already cash flowing. Already cash flowing, guys. So I'm already cash flow positive in the deal. Okay? I'm bringing in more money than the debt service is costing me. Okay? So I'm making a great amount of return up front. Number two, okay, I bought that for about $1.7 million. Okay? 15 properties cash flowing. 3 minutes from Mississippi State University. Okay, so my tenants are faculty and students. I'm in a college town. Those are very good metrics when it comes to real estate. Number two, what I also got in there as well is if you saw that it said 18 lots as well. Okay, now before I go to 18 lots, that's gonna blow your mind. Before I go to 18 lots, guys, what I did there is bought for 1.7, worth 3.4. Who won? I did. Number two, the seller at the time wanted me also to buy 18 lots, already subdivided, already ready to build on. That's a great deal. Okay. So what did I do? I structured the deal to where I bought 18 lots ready to build on for $10 total, not per lot, total. Okay. $10 for 18 lots. I think I did pretty well on that deal. Now, guys, watch this. We're refinancing to long-term debt, which is great, guys. We'll make a nice amount of return. We have a great amount of return right now, infinite return, because we're cash flow positive. But post building the 18 lots, that's about another $7 to $8, $9 million, about $7.58 million on the 18 lots. So 3.4 for the 15 properties, 9 million for the after repair value of the 18 lots. Guys, what's 9 plus 3? That's $12 million deal. Watch this. None of my money is even in the deal. $0. I get all the upside, very little risk, all the tax write-offs. It's a win-win for everybody. Simple, guys. Simple. What would I do with that cash? Fund it to a life insurance policy and do it again. It's simple, guys. But I also want to bring in another gentleman, a good friend of mine. His name is Brian Adamson. He's also another real estate mogul as well. And I want him to come in and talk with you guys about, is it a good time to invest in real estate? That's the question that I want him to answer. Okay. So here we go. Let me go and refresh it so you can hear my man talk a little bit. All right. Refresh.
Funny thing is, I was at the gym earlier today, and the lady asked me, the gym owner, she said, you know, how's real estate going? Like, is it still good to invest? And I said, it's phenomenal for investors, right? The consumer is who's more challenged by increased interest rates. Don't get me wrong, as an investor, you still have to take that into account, but it's not as much of a direct impact because the way we're evaluating deals is to outperform 5, 6, whatever the number is, significantly, right? So you feel more of the hiked interest rate as a consumer because you essentially paying that mortgage every month from income that you're producing. Whereas as an investor, we're looking to make 20-30% on our money
sir.
anyway. So we don't feel as much of the impact of 5-6% interest rate.
I want you guys to hear exactly what he said. And he's spot on when it comes to real estate investment. My minimum return, guys, is 25%. That's my minimum return. Minimum. So a higher cost of capital, 5, 6%, 7% interest rate, although it can be concerning to the consumer from a real estate investor standpoint, we know how to navigate those issues because we're expecting a 25, 30, 40% return. Easy. For the deal in Starkville, Mississippi, we're looking at an infinite return. Infinite. And so that's why I believe it's instead of investing money into a 401k, which you have no control, no protections, and you're paying a higher tax liability, I think the combination of a life insurance investing strategy and a real estate investing strategy is the proper move when it comes to that. Now you must say, what if I have a 401k? How can I begin to transfer that money or make that pivot over to or that Countermove over from a 401k environment over to a life insurance environment and then over to a real estate investment environment? Good question. You're welcome to DM me. I have a couple guys that I can refer you to that can assist you in that. I am not a life insurance guy. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a real estate developer and financier and a private equity venture capital investor. Okay. That's not my space. Even though I know a lot about it, I am not that. I'll be welcome. I will welcome the DMs. I welcome the emails, guys. And I refer to people. I refer to people that's actually on my team now that assist you with all that, give you the wise counsel that you will need, answering the questions that you may need so that you make a good, wise decision. More than ever now, guys, we're going to have to begin to widen that circle, inviting that wise counsel so that you can make sure that you're making a good, wise decision, because every decision that you make has a ripple effect for future generations. Okay, let me say that again. Every decision that you make now and moving forward has a ripple effect for future generations. So it's important to make sure that you widen that circle, widen that wise counsel, that you can make a good, wise decision, not only for you now, but for your children's children's. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. I hope this was insightful and helpful. We see you next Thursday, guys, on the Countermove. Take that picture for your mom because I do look better than you. You see that thing, baby. Now, I'll let your partner. Starting the business, one of the most important things is the name, which exchanges with the brand. I was reading John 3:16. That's when the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, 316 count. We are a real estate development and finance company. Also, the advice that I would give to somebody that is looking to start their own business, don't be afraid to jump out there. Don't be afraid to be mentored by someone that may know more than you may know, because business is a team sport. For the first 2 or 3 years, it was a little bit of a struggle because you're trying to find your footing in the real estate marketplace. Once I found my niche, it took about 3 to 5 years to go from zero to right now. We manage probably around like $15 to $20 million worth of real estate. The goal is never the destination; it's the journey. I think Kobe Bryant said that. What made him so great was he said, "I never focused on winning the 5 championships. I focused on the journey to winning the 5 championships. Mastering skills throughout the journey, I will naturally automatically get to the destination. Automatically." I am Liddell Bugs with 316 Capital, and I'm an entrepreneur.